They told you to chase success, to climb the ladder, to keep moving, to run faster, work harder, do more. But they never told you the truth. That the most powerful engine of transformation is not outside of you. It's not in the economy, not in politics, not in luck. It is thought. Your thought. Everything begins there. Every empire, every invention, every revolution, all of it born in the invisible furnace of the human mind. Leonardo da Vinci knew this. He walked among men but lived in realms they could not see. While others followed the known, he thought. He studied shadows, winds the flight of birds. He didn't just observe the world, he imagined what it could become. And so can you, because this isn't just about motivation. This is about mastery, of mind, of spirit, of the very force that shapes your destiny. You are not just flesh and blood. You are a builder of worlds sculpting reality with your thoughts, but only if you wake up, only if you remember who you are. Let this be the moment where the fog lifts, where the excuses die, where thought becomes your sword and your salvation. The world you see now is a mirror, a reflection of the dominant thoughts you've allowed to take root. Doubt, fear, insecurity. They grow like weeds in a garden left unattended. And yet, within the same soil, greatness can grow. That's the truth they never taught you. Your outer life is just the echo of your inner voice. Change what you believe, and everything begins to shift. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Not because it sounds poetic, but because it's a law. Your thoughts set the boundaries of what's possible, and you've been living in a prison made of your own imagination. But here's the good news: you built it, which means you can tear it down. You want to rise, then think higher. Success doesn't start with action, it starts with clarity, with vision so sharp it cuts through chaos. Look at the great minds: Edison, Disney, Carnegie. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for circumstances. They saw something before it existed. They built it inside first. You must do the same. You must craft a vision so vivid, so undeniable, that the world has to catch up. That's the power of thought. It makes the invisible inevitable. But vision without belief is fantasy. So here's the question: do you believe in your vision? Do you believe you're worthy of it? Most don't. They shrink. They settle. They hand their future to fear and call it realism. But Leonardo would not recognize that life. He would say, to develop a complete mind, study the art of science and the science of art. Learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. He understood the hidden threads between thought and form, mind and muscle, idea and execution. So the question becomes, can you see what others ignore? Can you think beyond the limitations you were raised with? Because belief is not a wish, it's a decision. A relentless daily decision to choose yourself, to choose possibility, even when everything around you whispers impossible. That is the battlefield, not out there and here, in your mind. Every day you wake up and declare what kind of life you deserve with your thoughts. And the world listens. But thought alone is not enough. It needs direction. It needs clarity, like a river needs a channel. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they're scattered, distracted. Their minds are like broken mirrors reflecting fragments of 1,000 dreams, but committing to none. But clarity is power. You must know who you are, what you stand for, what you will and will not accept. You must carve it into your identity like stone, unshakable, unbreakable. Every thought you think should be in alignment with your mission. No more mental junk. No more wishing without working, dreaming without doing. You are no longer available for mediocrity. Because thought without clarity leads to confusion, and confusion is the enemy of greatness. When Da Vinci envisioned flight centuries before the first airplane, it wasn't because he had more time, it was because he had more focus. He could see with the inner eye where others only glanced with the outer. And that is your edge. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need more clarity. You need a vision that burns so brightly inside your chest that it silences every excuse, every fear, every doubt. That is when your thoughts become unstoppable. That is when your life begins to move. But clarity must lead to discipline. The mind is a forge, and discipline is the hammer. Too many people treat their minds like fragile glass, avoiding discomfort, dodging challenge, seeking ease. But Da Vinci wasn't made in comfort. He was made in curiosity, in rigor, in the obsession with mastery. You want to be great, then make your thoughts your servants, not your masters. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about alignment. It's about training your thoughts to obey your vision, not your feelings. Because feelings lie. But vision, if it's true, will always demand more of you. This is where most stop. They begin with hope. They speak of dreams. But when the friction comes, the early mornings, the failures, the setbacks, they retreat. Not because they're weak, but because they never trained the mind to endure. You must. You must. Because once you've trained the mind to think strong, to think, focused, to think clearly, the world becomes your canvas. And like Da Vinci, you don't just live in it, you create it. But creation demands more than just thought. It demands action. Relentless, intentional, purpose-driven action. It's easy to dream with your eyes closed. But the true architects of reality dream with their eyes open. They do not wait, they move. Leonardo da Vinci sketched over 13,000 pages of notes in his lifetime. 13,000 testaments to motion, not just intention. He didn't just imagine, he built, measured, studied, and iterated. Because ideas that stay in your head will rot there. A thought is only as powerful as the steps it sets into motion. So if you dare to think bold, you must act bold. You must stand up every single day with the posture of someone who knows their mind holds power. And their actions prove it. Not every step will be perfect, most will not. But perfection is not the goal, progress is. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Edison failed over 1,000 times before his light bulb worked. These men weren't gifted with magic, they were driven by thought and hardened by discipline. They acted before they were ready. And they moved forward even when the world laughed. Because they knew this. The world never moves before the thinker does. It is your job to act, to make your thoughts so loud through your deeds that doubt has no room to breathe. Let the world see what belief looks like. Let your life be the evidence. And yet in the heat of action, when the body grows weary and the mind grows doubtful, you must hold on to the most underestimated force of all, gratitude. Not the soft kind, not the polite thank you whispered through clenched teeth, but the warrior's gratitude, the kind that smiles in adversity, the kind that sees opportunity in pain, the kind that recognizes every obstacle as fuel. Because when your mind is tuned to gratitude, it transforms even the darkest moments into instruction. It rewires your thoughts toward possibility, not punishment. Leonardo once said, "Every obstacle yields to stern resolve." Gratitude is that resolve. It is not weakness, it is your weapon against despair. It gives you endurance. It gives you perspective. When others see failure, you will see feedback. When others collapse, you will learn. Because you're not here to live a life of avoidance, you're here to evolve. And evolution requires gratitude, not just for the peaks, but for the valleys that made you strong. You cannot become who you are meant to be without struggle. So stop cursing the resistance. Bless it. Thank it. Let it sharpen your thought into a blade so precise it cuts through limitation like silk. You're not here by accident. Every pain, every fall, every detour has trained you for this moment. Be grateful, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And then comes the moment where the ground shifts, where the plan no longer fits the battlefield, where what once worked begins to fail, where certainty evaporates. That is where most crumble, but not you. Because your mind trained by thought, driven by clarity, anchored in purpose, is adaptable. You must become like water, formless yet unstoppable, flexible yet fierce. Da Vinci did not cling to a single path. He was a painter and a physicist, an anatomist and an inventor, a philosopher and a dreamer, because he flowed with his thought. He did not fear change, he used it. He knew that rigidity is the death of brilliance. So don't hold so tightly to the plan that you forget the mission. Don't confuse stubbornness with strength. Real power is the ability to pivot with purpose. Adaptability means listening to feedback, to failure, to intuition. It means surrendering ego so you can refine your path. The eagle does not curse the wind, it uses it to rise. And you, with your vision, your discipline, your relentless action, you will rise too. Not because everything goes according to plan, but because your mind will not be broken. You are no longer a prisoner of circumstance. You are a sculptor of chaos. You bend change to your design, and in doing so, you become resilient. Resilience is not born in success. It is forged in the fire of setbacks. It is built through failure that does not destroy, but teaches. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is not denial. That is resilience-powered thought. The average person lets failure define them. You will let it refine you. Resilience is the mindset that says, I am not done. I am not broken. I am building. Even when the bricks are heavy, even when the nights are long, even when no one claps, you will keep going. Because your thoughts are not based on feelings, they're built on foundation, on commitment, on purpose. Pain is not your enemy, it's your coach. And every scar, every bruise, every heartbreak is the tuition you pay for mastery. You want greatness? Then prepare to endure, to persist long after comfort has left the room. Because those who rise highest are the ones who refuse to quit when no one's watching. You are not fragile, you are not average, you are a mind on fire. Let the world try to break you and watch as you bend without snapping. Let the storms come and become the one who walks through them with purpose. Because resilience isn't just survival, it's evolution. It's the quiet roar that says, this is not the end of me. This is the forging of me. And so in the quiet after the storm, when the noise has faded and the world watches to see who still stands, you rise. Not as who you were, but as who you chose to become. This is the final transformation, the divine reward of those who have dared to harness the power of thought, not as a fantasy, but as a force. You have traveled through the battlefield of the mind. You've restructured doubt into discipline. You've turned fear into clarity. You've weaponized pain into fuel. And now you understand what few ever will. The greatest power on earth is not outside you. It is not in wealth or status or applause. It is in the command of your own mind. You are no longer reactive. You are no longer at the mercy of external winds. You have become a conscious architect of destiny. That was Da Vinci's secret. Not that he could draw or invent, but that he thought beyond the limits of his age. He refused to be defined by others' boundaries. He imagined what did not yet exist and had the audacity to believe he could bring it to life. And now, so can you. Your thoughts are seeds. Your habits are water. Your vision is sunlight. Feed them, and you will grow forests where deserts once stood. But if you let the weeds of self-doubt, comparison, and fear take root, they will strangle your brilliance in silence. So choose your thoughts with intention. Shape them like sculpture. Sharpen them like blades, aim them like arrows, because they will build your future, whether by design or by default. And now you know the truth. You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not behind. You are a living testament to the limitless capacity of the human mind. But knowing this is not enough. You must embody it, live it, walk it, every morning, with every breath, with every decision. Let the world look at your life and feel your vision. Let them see what thought become action really looks like. Let them witness the rebirth of one who did not conform, but transformed. This is not motivation. This is not a speech. This is a call to war, the war between who you are and who you were born to be. And it's a war you're built to win, because now you know how to fight it. With clarity, with discipline, with unshakable belief, with adaptability, with gratitude, with resilience, and above all, with the infinite, unstoppable, untouchable, God-given force of thought. So go, not tomorrow, not someday, now. Take the thoughts in your mind and forge them into reality. Take your imagination and let it roar louder than fear. Take your soul and breathe life into a world that forgot how to dream. This is your hour. This is your era. This is your masterpiece. And you are the creator.